All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the new channel that has just came on YouTube. It is called The Mystics Have Spoken, and I just got off a live, and I haven't been on TikTok in a while because it's just so much garbage, so much stuff that people think they know and they don't. You've got a 21-year-old and a 20-year-old trying to tell people to follow the Torah, that they're perfect, complete bullshit. And I'm going to tell people to go to my channel on YouTube. It's very important because it will disparage all thoughts of even anybody thinking that the Bible is actually original. I can prove it. I will bet my house on it. I will bet anything, because it's a Masonic masterpiece. And unless you have been into the ancient mystical practices, the initiates, you will not understand this. And I can just tell you that I'm excited to show people this. I tried to explain to the guys. I said, listen, I can show you in Deuteronomy where the source, as you want to call God, is not in the Bible. As a matter of fact, that word is Elohim, and that is powerful ones, the magistrates, the judges. These are these beings who run this cycle of the matrix, the simulation matrix, and also the afterlife. And that's very important because you have a lot of people thinking that, they recognize that this life is even somewhat evil, but they don't realize that the afterlife is also completely controlled by these archons, these beings, these Anunnaki. And when you understand or overstand this, you will then become free. You become free of the matrix. You'll become free of any religiosity. These people who are in what we would call Torah, I taught for 17 years. And I'm going to tell you, it is the most dangerous. It is absolutely, even the guy who was there teaching, he was very dark. His eyes were dark. This is the type of guy that if you said something to him and you proved his spiel wrong, he'd get very angry with you. Very angry with you. And so, again, I haven't been on here in a long time, and I wanted to tell you about the new channel on YouTube, The Mystics Have Spoken. And The Mystics Have Spoken, I was going to name the channel The House of the Enlightened, because when we come into the light from the darkness, we're raised into the light. The Masonics got it right, believe it or not. They hold a lot of the keys, hence the keys of Solomon. And if anybody hasn't saw any of the videos I did, one of the most telling books that I could ever recommend anybody to read is called The Haram Key. And the Haram Key is about a character in a masonry called Haram Abif. And it's funny because a lot of the Masons don't even know who Haram Abif is. But Haram Abif is in the Bible under a different name. It is absolutely all encoded in Genesis. Okay. Hey, Rooster, how's it going? I told you I'd be back. The new channel is now up on YouTube. It's called The Mystics Have Spoken. And we are going to have some fun. I've got a lot to share. I've been waiting for this time. I just was explaining that I got on to a couple people who were Torah people holding the law. And of course, what are they doing? They're going after the Christians. And they're trying to be super succeeding by ego that we are better. Oh, well, and they make it very nonchalant. And we all did the same thing. It's a pattern. It's the pattern of the enemy. Well, it's not hard to not eat pork. It's not hard to not commit adultery. We do these things. What do they sound like? They sound like the Pharisees, right? That's exactly who they sound. Michelle is with us. Welcome. So I want to put a lot of people at ease because and I hope I don't get kicked off because every time I talk about something Masonic, they knock me off. I can tell you, I study the text, I study the ancient text, and these guys who were just dabbling in the Torah, and they even knew some things about Paul. And here's my take on Paul, okay? Who cares? Who cares? Paul didn't even know Jesus. He never even met the man, okay? So we have to use a little bit of thought process to understand who cares what Paul said, okay? It's no different if you've got a friend who is tight in the church. He's a prayer warrior. There you go. There's your Paul. Okay? You're going to let him dictate everything that you do in your life? Oh, well, Paul says this. Paul says this. Paul said this. Well, okay. Even the words of Yeshua, of Jesus, have to be looked at very seriously because when you know where this book comes from, this is very important you understand this. And by the way, the new channel is called The Mystics Have Spoken. It's on YouTube. Go ahead, like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. We've got a lot of stuff. I will be doing some live interviews. And I'm going to come back on TikTok every once in a while. Last time we did TikTok, we had 900 people come in. It was amazing. And, you know, and I forgot to even add somebody. I will next time. I don't know if I can even do it. I don't think I can. Oh, yeah, I can invite. So if anybody wants to talk to me, feel free. Just say yes. I want to talk, and as long as you're respectful. But the main message of the mystics have spoken is that these Torah people are getting down on Christianity. The Christians are getting down on the non-believers. They're also getting down on every single other religion, the Buddhists, the Taoists, all of the even Islam, okay? And here is the truth, the emet. It is all religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, are of the beast. And the beast is Yahweh. Now, and it's very important because the earliest believers knew this. They called him the Demiurge. He was known as a different name. Some called him Baal. Some called him Marduk. Most of them called him Enlil because it's all about a Sumerian story. Abraham was Sumerian. Okay, so you have in 2026, you have all of these people reaching up for this Masonic Bible. The Masonic people, which was John Dee, which was Master Witchcraft, along with the guys of Benjamin Franklin, who was a witch, was in witchcraft. They all, and by the way, he owned the printing presses, so they mass produced this thing. You have to remember, back in Latin, they didn't even have a Bible to read. The priests would read the Bible for them. You understand? So this Masonic thing is very, very important. It's hinged on the two pillars, Joachim and Boaz. Those are the master Mason passwords. All of it hinges in the Genesis or the Genesis. Okay? So again, like and subscribe. You're not going to find me too much on TikTok. I will come back now because I am kind of back in the swing of things. But people love the content. They're like, when are you coming back? I'm like, I'm back. And I'm back with my YouTube channel. I got two videos up right now with Paul Wallace. Some of you, if you're not familiar with Paul Wallace, you should definitely check him out. He's on the Third Kind TV, which is on the internet. The Fifth Kind, and also the Gaia channel. And we had two interviews, and they went very, very well. And we talked about life, death, and reincarnation. And then we also talked about the Elohim. And the truth of the matter is, there in the Old Testament, this is going to kill the Torah people, there is no word that is Eloah in the Old Testament. It's always Elohim. And then Elohim is revealed as Yahweh, or actually this is what a lot of people would say. It's not Yahweh at all. It's actually Yud-He Vav-He. And the Yud-He Vav-He is, or somebody would say Yud-He Wa-He, and that is a code. It's a Kabbalistic code. And that's why it's used in witchcraft. If you look at the symbolism of the pentagram, it's on all four sides, and it is the symbolism of witchcraft. What a lot of people don't know, and I've learned this in college and studied this, so I can tell you this is not something that I'm trying to guess at. There are not 5 books of Moses. There's 9 books of Moses. Okay, I have to be very careful because some of the stuff I'm sharing is very hard for people to understand because they're not been in the mystical practices. They don't have that background, and then when TikTok hears it, they like. I mean, I've got kicked off before very quickly. I'm okay with that because I got the YouTube channel. Fuck you, TikTok. You see what I'm saying? It's okay. The Mystics Have Spoken is going to be the new channel that's already up. Go ahead, like and subscribe it, get the bell icon, and get prepared to be shaken because we're going to find out where all this stuff comes from. And where does it come from? Early Mesopotamia, Sumerian. You're talking about even in the Popol Vuh, which is the Mayan account. So you have the Enuma Elish, you have the Popol Vuh, and then you have the Atrahasis, which are all creation accounts. And if you take a look at those accounts, those are approximately 2,500 to 3,000 years before the Masonic Bible that came out. Now, in 1611, the Masonic Bible came out, which was a Masonic Bible that was written for the Masonics. That's why it's in the lodges. And despite what people believe, the Masonic people have a lot more truth, but they hid it in codes and secrecy. Who did that? I don't know. It sounds a lot like Yeshua, right? I'm speaking to you in parables so others don't understand. Let me tell you something. He absolutely had handshakes. They had secret signals. They had passwords. They had all of that. And all of that's located in the book of the Genesis or the Genesis. And that's not even an original story. The story is from the Elohim, which are the Anunnaki in the Sumerian, those who came from heaven to earth. These are not fallen angels. This is a higher race of being that is above the humans, okay? Some call them angels. You have to realize and understand, the source is a frequency. It doesn't need angels, okay? The demiurge, or what we would call Enlil in the Sumerian, or in the Coptic Egyptian we would call Set, or in the English or the Hebrew, Hashatan, and then Hashatan came into the English as Satan. They used to call Enlil Lord Satan. That's why in the Bible they got rid of the Yud He Vav He and they put Lord. Isn't that interesting? So when we're in Torah, we're like, well, you know, his name is Yod He Vav He, and you don't even know what the name is because it's not even a name. So you got everybody arguing. And who argues? Who divides? Satan. Well, his name is Yahweh. His name is Yahovah, or Yehovah, or Yahuwah, which is one of the most ridiculous names, even if it was a name. By these guys, they actually take the form of Yah and Hua, like they look at all the other names, Jeremiah, but that could be also said with Yeho, Yehoshua. One of the questions I had to ask the source, a very quick answer, as I normally do. If Yeshua is really called Yehoshua, because it's not about a name, okay? Name means character and authority, and actually in Sumerian, name meant craft or ship. So now you're going to understand a little bit more about what was going on in the Tower of Babel, okay? The Tower of Babel was the story of the Anunnaki that wanted to suppress the humans from climbing and building a tower to the heavens, the Hashemayim. Now here's the thing. We think the heavens is the air, the sky. But Mayim is water, so it's the waters. I don't know, are we in a bowl? We could be. I'm not going to share all of it with you because it's very, very deep, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to handle it. We have to go step by step. And that's exactly what I'm going to do with the Mystics Have Spoken. It's kind of funny. I was sitting doing some laundry, and I was going to name the channel The Enlightened Path or the Enlightened, the House of the Enlightened. And I got the word. I don't like to say word because it sounds like, you know, we're listening. These are guides, people. These are guides. It's not the Holy Spirit. Everybody always thinks it's the Holy Spirit. You have to understand, people, we are We are not a body with a soul. We are a soul trapped in a body. And Yeshua knew this. He was talking about this body as a prison. Okay? It's a prison. And the prison outside the body is the illusion. Okay? Very, very deep. This is a simulation. Science has already proved this. You want to talk about ex-CIA documents that have been declassified under the Monroe experiment or the Gateway experience. Some of you may have delved in that. Anybody interested, I can help you with that and get you absolutely free material. But it's very deep stuff. It's putting the two sides of the brain, the left and the right, the one is the human, the one the reptilian, putting together this consciousness and bringing that out and letting you experience that. Look at it like this. If you are looking at what this life is, you are looking through a VR headset. You are the observer. Okay? It's not about laws. It's not about, okay, so what do they do with laws? They wanted to have everybody under a subservient code. You know where those 10 commandments come from? They're not from God. They're from the 42 laws of Ma'at in Egypt. And who were the Hebrews? They were called the Hebrews, by the way, not Hebrews. It's a very big difference. They were the rejected Egyptians. Touché. The rejected Egyptians. How about that? Everything happened in Egypt. So it's funny because I was in a Torah group. It was a Torah singles group. Because I was looking, maybe I can meet somebody nice and then on top of that explain to them they're following the bad guy. So the lady, very nice lady, she said, "Brother, did you know you're wearing an ankh?" An ankh kind of looks like that up there. And this is very important because in Christianity, everybody's wearing crosses. This is the pagan cross. They have everybody fooled. That is the masculine, okay? What they don't want you to understand is they don't want you to understand or understand or overstand that the feminine, the divine feminine, birthed the male. Okay? The divine feminine is very, very powerful, even more so than the male. They needed to switch this, and that's where you see the vulva over the cross. That was when the male and the female come together as one, the divine feminine. And we learn a lot of this as a Rosicrucian by learning about Mary Magdalene. And this is a whole another chapter. But again, that is in the Hebrew text, right? What is that, Master Deli? What are you asking exactly? What's in the Hebrew text? So I go on to explain to people, and this is like language, okay? So this is not believing Lou White, who's a false teacher in the Hebrew roots. Everybody wants to turn to the Hebrew. The Hebrew is actually, in language, in linguistics, the sixth language from Sumerian. Six. That's a problem because that shows us, I'm sorry, that it's just my security system. That shows us something very important because that shows us that the Greek had absolutely not come from the Hebrew. The Hebrew came from the Greek. Now, you might say, well, that's absolutely ridiculous. Try to find a text or a reference guide that would tell you that, and you will pay on upwards of $8,000 to $10,000 for one book, because it's knowledge that's not needing to be dispersed. Why? Why is this? And by the way, the new channel is called The Mystics Have Spoken. It's on YouTube. Don't forget to check it out. I'll be on here a little bit. I had a couple people wanting me to come back. I was listening to some of these Torah guys. We were all terrorists back in the day. And I asked, of course, to speak. I said, can I share a little bit of wisdom with you? Of course, they did not acknowledge me at all, showing the love of Jesus. And here we go. And I just I wasn't planning on doing a video like this at all. But I do believe I will probably put this up on YouTube and make it a separate channel, a playlist, and not make it entirely long. Because I know last time we did 4 hours, but we had over 900 people. We're not going to do that tonight. We're just going to, very light, answer any questions that you have. The New Testament, right, I know that was Greek, yes, and so was the Old Testament. Absolutely. And again, don't believe me. You know what I always like to do? I always like to go and be the long shot. You know why? Because the long shot is the least understood. You have to understand in the esoteric principles, we always would explain to people the things that we want them to look at so they don't find what we're understanding or understanding. Okay? That's exactly what the game plan is to make people think that something is evil. I'll give you an example, right? You have the Baphomet, right? Even a lot of people who are they feel they're studied, right? The Baphomet, very evil looking. It is the goat with the hands up and down, and it is the androgynous being of a male and a female. Okay, very evil, right? It's a symbol. It has nothing to do. Right, exactly. The serpent isn't bad. There's another one for you. Okay, the serpent was in the garden. Yeshua says, "I was the serpent" in the Nag Hammadi library. Nag Hammadi library. But the Baphomet, it represents so as above, so as below. This is where the hand signs are. This is the same thing as, and again, just because Israel is on the tag of the star, and this is not the star of Cherem, it's not the star of Rapham, it's not. It's not. That is the star of Venus, and that's an eight-sided star. So we got a lot of bullshit going on that a lot of people grab to, and it has no substance whatsoever when you look for truth. As above, so below, right? So mote it be. These are things that are taught very clearly in paganism, in witchcraft, in Masonry, in Priory Zane, in Rosicrucianism, because there is based truth on that. And who better to hide this truth than, and even a lot of things in the OTO or Anton LaVey or Maria Blavatsky, there was a lot of truth to this. We can go all the way back to Socrates. We can go back to Plato. We can go back to the cave. All of this stuff is being revealed as it's called the apocalypse, which is the revealing. You know, if you say to somebody, well, you know, we're in the apocalypse, or I know, brother, we're in the apocalypse. It's the end times. And these guys, these Torah guys, they're like, well, Jesus is coming back. He's going to bring his kingdom on earth. No, you don't get it. You don't. He's not coming back. He already came back. Revelation, if you believe the words, because the words are true, but you just don't understand them. Revelation 1:3, these things are to happen soon, and near is the coming. John wrote that in Patmos. So if you're near is 2,000 years later, we've got a big theological problem. Boom. Done. Mic drop. So what is really going on? What is going on? It's fear. It's based on a play that's being, and these guys are playing right into it. They're like, yeah, we're going to get the temple going. We're going to do sacrifice. You're not going to do any sacrifices. It's not going to go down like that. It's a much bigger scale. This is a galactic scale. This is not something that a bunch of Hebrews are going to be running around doing sacrifice. This is the most ridiculous thing. Absolutely. Hey, Giselle, how are you? Thank you. I appreciate it. Don't forget to check out my YouTube channel. It's called The Mystics Have Spoken. Brand new. 2 videos of Paul Wallace up there. Definitely, if you have not saw the Paul Wallace videos, you absolutely want to check them out. I can't speak on something that I'm not prepared to speak on. Venus, Aphrodite, many names again. Always many names. Bon Jovi came out with a song, which you might remember, Wanted Dead or Alive. Is always the names have changed. Only the names have changed. How does it go? It's all the same, only the names have changed. You have to realize that these people, they take oaths, they take blood sacrifices, they take, and yes, it is all a part of the Illuminati agenda, where, and I've talked about this before, there's a way to manifest, and then there's a way to, if you want to say extra manifest, it's done by blood offering, okay? So that's very important. You heard the concept that the planet Venus might be hell. You know where hell is? It's right here. This is hell. This is hell. There's a great video that somebody did, which he makes the point that Earth is a school. It's someplace that you could see everything around you. I mean, even Jesus himself says, I'm not from this world. He says, and my Father is not of this world either. So when we hear the Abba, or we hear what he would call in the Nag Hammadi library as the monad, This is not a guy up in the sky. This is a frequency. And I think Greg Braden, I'd just like to couple what he said because I really love the way he explains it. And I love to explain it this way as well. People, when we pray, there's prayer and there's meditation. Meditation is clearing the mind and letting that come to you. Prayer is groveling and asking for something. Okay, so the in the text, in the ancient text, Jesus explains, or Yeshua for those people, it doesn't matter, names don't matter. He's an avatar. Yeah, he was more than likely Gautama Buddha. He was probably Lao Tzu. He was more than likely Elisha, which is an amazing test by Paramahansa Yogananda. I have to give him all the credit for that. It was amazing how he shows that Jesus was Elisha and Elijah was John. Jesus said it himself. He says, if you can receive it, John is Elijah. Right? Saturn. Everything's Saturn. Everything is Saturn. Right. Well, the Venus was the star, but the prison is the Saturn. It's the Kaaba. It's the cube. It's all based on the what the mark of the beast is, the carbon of man, the 666. Those who have wisdom know it's the mark of man, a mark of a man. They did a lot of game playing in these texts, but again, context, contextually speaking, the mark of the beast, it already happened. It's something that's past. It's something that's history. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to recreate this history for the people who don't know what's going on. So that is the agenda. But I'm going to tell you what really is going to happen. And we are at a very big crossroad here, and it's not going to be pretty. And I will tell you this, the Anunnaki will wipe this whole place out again, quickly. And I hate to tell you this, but this is the message. If we don't get back to loving each other, they are the creators, and they created us from a hominid species. And whether you like it or not, that's the case. And I see a lot of people, fuck the Anunnaki and all this other stuff. Well, my lineage is from the Enki side of the Anunnaki. I have been told this. And I always tell people this. You may not agree with what is going on, and we don't worship them. So you see, so people who are in here right now, I just got knocked off for 10 minutes. They blocked me. And that's how bad they don't want this stuff to go on. The moment you start talking about Anunnaki, that's it. Boom, that's it. We're done. We're done. So don't forget the channel, When the Mystics Speak. Well, that's really a very unfound statement. The Anunnaki is the Sumerian word, which absolutely they existed. They came in many different forms. They were known as the Ant People and different. Absolutely, they were the Anunnaki, the Anuki, and that's all based on Anu, the god of the universe. Ki meaning earth. So that's a very unfounded statement. And I guess you're maybe one of these people that don't like Zecharia Sitchin. And, it's kind of like that idea that, he wasn't a real archaeologist. Well, he knew more than most archaeologists. He was of the 10 people that could read cuneiform. Okay? So, yeah, I very well respect him. So I'm a little bit puzzled by that, but it's okay. It's okay. Zachary Sitchin, what is that? Oh, okay. I can't spell. So yeah, I did get knocked off TikTok. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back on, but I got 10 minutes. I'm in timeout. So anyways, my channel, again, is The Mystics Has Spoken. Check it out. It's on YouTube. If you guys want to friend me on Facebook, go look for Gregory, Gregory, Boss, Boss, and you'll find me with the logo, The Mystics Have Spoken. When you first started to speak on your wisdom, did weird things start to happen? Somewhat. More of a freeness happened. More of the freeness happened. It was if you want, Casella, I don't know if you're in the United States, and if you ever want to talk, I do talk to people. You can feel free to send me a message. I think that we have a lot of this stuff coming in from Christianity still. Listen, coming from the ancient initiates, mainly in, especially Rosicrucianism and Masonry, you have a very understood category of what is called egregores, even in paganism, witchcraft. And what an egregore is a thought and a thought that comes into fruition that literally comes as a physical manifestation. And this is exactly what the elite are doing is they're placing all this negativity. Did you say everything in the world is negative? So and so got shot, so much fire. So everybody who's not really grounded outside that three chakra system, the lower chakras, right? Two at least, they're what are they doing? Oh, they're. I mean, you look at the people with the mask. You know, I mean, somebody thinks about the Hana virus with the mice, and now everybody's wearing masks. You know, stupid. But what does it do? It breeds fear, which is loosh, and the loosh is received by these reptilians, and that's what it is. It's negative energy. I love how TikTok's just trying to figure out what I'm speaking about. But it's loosh, it's negative energy, and that's what the reptilians frown on. I want to be also very clear with people. I do believe, and I've been told by this by two people, that I am actually part reptilian, and I am from the star cluster of Alpha Centauri. And I was given a reading. This is not like a psychic reading. This is like a deep scroll text reading that kind of showed what was going on in my life about what happened. I thought, and this was just my thought, that I was coming here. I'm kind of learning the ropes, and my ultimate goal was to help people realize the truth, and that's not what the case was. The case was that I ended up fucking somebody over who was another reptilian, was a woman in a trade deal, and she sent me to the Matrix. And let me tell you something. If some of you want to get to know me a little more intimately, I will share you some things in my life that I cannot get around, and it was because of this bitch that did this to me, and now I know everything that is going on. And the good news is that now it's over. I did get confirmation that I did pass the test, and I'm going back to Alpha Centauri. I'm getting out of this Earth Matrix, and I'm going back. And that's all I need to know. I don't have to have any book tell me. I don't have to have any person tell me. I know, and my family has protected me so much, so much. I'm a living, walking miracle, okay? And the sad thing about it is that in the beginning, we always think, well, it's Jesus. You know, Jesus is holding my hand. Of course, of course. But I don't believe that anymore, because I know from the stories and from the text and from the realization that Jesus more than likely lived a very long life. He went to Tibet. He went to India. They have shrines up there. They saw the man after, okay? And now when we understand resurrection technology, anyways, how are you sure you're going back? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. So the word that I got, the guides told me that I am done with this life. This life, I'm simply here to ride the wave. Hopefully, I will find somebody that is very special. Right now, I'm very happy. I'm keeping open. I'm getting my place in line. I'm getting my channel in line, and everything's going fine. But I do know these things are real. I have a very close friend in Kenya who actually did the artwork for the channel, which I appreciate so much. And I'm a little worried because I haven't heard from him in a couple days. And he's always with me. He's a soul cluster. He showed me that, which he also gave me that word from the guides, as he is also not from here. And it's amazing when we meet somebody or we see somebody, we're like, you know what? I know you. I know you. And this is why you see some people even, and it doesn't have to be romantic, it can be romantic, but you see this person, you're like, I know that person. I know that soul. And then you will connect with them, you see? And that's how I feel about this guy in Kenya. I don't even know him, but I've talked to him, and I would just like do anything for this guy. He's got more wisdom. I mean, I consider myself a mystic. This guy's like 1,000-time mystic, okay? And he's got so much love. And I'm just going to tell you that it's an amazing thing because I don't know if you'd want me to share that. Maybe I better not share. But what he experienced was very, very scary. I'm not writing a book. It does come across possibly, and the only reason is I am still studying for my master's, so I would have to write a dissertation, which would have to be at least 80 to 120 pages. So if that's the case, right now, I don't see that happening. I'm not too concerned with the scholastics end of it. I think that my basis as a researcher and somebody who really, really, when I read these texts, the guides told me, you don't need these things. You're just using these things for you to remember truth. It's the recollection and remembrance. And I want to talk about this for a minute because it's very interesting, because here we go again. In the Bible, we get shown that the Spirit will remind you, the Ruach will remind you of these things. Now, what things? Of the things that you learned. Oh. So what do? We automatically put it in a box. What are we talking about? We're talking about the Bible, right? Do you see what I'm trying to explain to you? And now, because we're talking about the Bible, the Spirit's going to remind you about what you read in John, right? No. The word emet in Hebrew, it means recollection and remembrance. Now put the words together and you figure it out yourself. The spirit of recollection and remembrance. What are you remembering? That's the real spirit. But everybody has the spirit, okay? Unless you're an NPC. I did a video on this, which, by the way, there's only 2 videos that I felt that deemed worthy to keep. Was those 2 Paul Wallace videos on the mystics have spoken. And I chose to do that because I didn't want anything from my past relationship in there. I'm not speaking about her, nothing like that. It's just a clear path for the mystics have spoken. And I'll go back to it. So when I was doing the laundry, I heard the guide say very clearly, the mystics have spoken. Now, it's interesting because if you go to one of the videos I did, which I was just all having a good time on Friday night, and I was, some of you know I sing and DJ, and I started just to listen to this beautiful piece by Brian Cain called Two Spirits Soar. Very beautiful piece. And I just said it, and I said, the mystics have spoken. And then when I said that, it didn't mean anything to me. But the next day, when I was in the room, doing the laundry, because I was trying to figure out what am I going to name the channel, and that's when they said the mystics have spoken. Very excited to know that in 3 days, our first video did over 800 views. So not bad, not bad. Gisela, what story are you talking about? What story? Yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing. But let's be clear. These are the guides that are helping us. Everybody has it. Oh, okay, the Kenya guy. So I don't think he would mind because I actually talked about it. We were actually in a YouTube group that we were going to discuss it because he. So I'll tell you. So he does astral travel, and that can be a little bit dangerous. And he called me up one night and he says, "Oh my goodness, I'm freaking out. I've never met these beings in the physical," and he was abducted by a reptilian. And they took him into, this is real time, this is not a dream, and he was abducted in the streets of Kenya. It was very late at night, and they took him in, and basically he was knocked out. And when he woke up, he was in a white room with very he was explaining kind of like a table there, kind of like an operating room, and the reptilian came up to him and he had a very long finger. He was saying a long finger with a very with like a claw, and he put it to the forehead. Now, what he told me is very eerie because ever since that happened, he's had nothing but bad things. Not bad things that happened to him, but he recognizes that he's being tracked. Now, I also was given understanding that I was in the MK Ultra program before I was adopted, and I was adopted, and I was very fortunate that I was not into the bad part. I was, and I believe this is where the favor comes in, because, like I said, if you want to get to know me, my story is absolutely amazing. And I have a hard time because, and this goes back to the whole story, which I will only share intimately with somebody. When I say intimately, I mean these are things that are very close to me, and if I don't trust you or don't know you, there's no way I'm going to share these things. Okay. Um, yes, yes, and it was a lot of sexual deviation. It was a lot of brainwashing, and they tracked me. And I know this for a fact because I still deal with the tracking through the things that sometimes appear on my skin. And I know exactly what they are. They've already showed me. And I had this happen very at a young age. And they are said, and I'm just telling you what I was told, this happens in the sleep. And one of the things that I was just, you call it a blessing. I can go to sleep no matter if I'm tired or not tired. I can literally go to sleep in 5 minutes. That's very powerful. It's the same thing. One of the other things I'll share with you people, for those of you who don't want to get old, and the Bodhishivas do this. So this is like, again, quantum leaping mechanics, training your brain to, the only reason why we get older, catch this, is because it's your birthday. You're recognizing your birthday, recognizing you're 1 year older. So guess what's happening? You are manifesting that reality, and you are 1 year older. Do you see what I'm saying? So, um, why? My take is I'll take a Sherry Shriner statement that she made. She's no longer with us because I think that she had a lot of truth, and I think they got rid of her. Is because they are tracking the Anunnaki bloodline. Um, and I'm sorry to tell you, people, but it is not all evil. Just like NPCs are not all evil. There are good NPCs that are here to. I have to be careful because I'm not sure who's going to watch this. There's somebody I know that helps me out incredibly, but I was shown that is an NPC. Um, and you can be in religion, you can be in politics, you can be all of it. It just you're just not connected to the source. Okay, Sherry Shriner, Sherry Shriner. Um, she talked a lot about the. This is very dangerous stuff to talk about. The bases in Dulce, Mexico, New Mexico. One of the major trafficking areas, although I do believe that they kind of cut that down a little bit on what they're doing. They are hitting the dumb bases, okay, but I don't want to get into that. But there's a lot of horrible, horrible stuff. And again, nothing new under the sun. This is all the same stuff that they did back in the day. So why is it dangerous? Is because they don't want people to know this information. Anything to do with, and that's why you're seeing a little bit of Steven Spielberg's new movie coming out called Disclosure. I would definitely want to see that. You know, in my opinion, you have people like Spielberg, even Ron Howard. These people may not even be actually. These could definitely be. You know, I don't know how open everybody is, but I'm going to tell you, this world is not what it seems. There are people walking around with masks. There are people doing CGI. This is a very strange. It's always been this way, but now we're starting to awaken. It's the apocalypse. It's the awakening. That's what's happening right now. So I would tell you, I'm 56. I feel like I'm caught in a 22-year-old body. I mean, I look 22. I definitely don't look 22, but I just don't feel my age, and I'm caught in this matrix because I want to help and share with people, and there is a way to get out of this, and it's found in a lot of texts. The Nag Hammadi library is probably my favorite. So, anyways, that is what I would say. If you haven't got a Nag Hammadi library, definitely get that. That couples the words of Jesus, Mary Magdalene. You have the Gospel of the Secret Companion, and one of my favorite that I just picked up is the Secret Supper of John, which is by the Cathars, which is going to be just blowing the lid off truth. It's going to be amazing. I don't understand why he has to do that. So there's a lot to talk about. Again, if you just joined us, the new channel on YouTube is called The Mystics Have Spoken. Cassell, you gonna be okay? All right. Find me on Facebook, Gregory Boss, Boss. We can talk. That's my I live in a compound. That's my security system. There's just so much. You're scared? No, don't. There's no fear. There's no fear. Don't fear. What did Yeshua say? He said, don't fear. Fear not. He was trying to explain to people, who's the fear? The fear is the God of this world. He wants to instill fear. He wants to use that fear for Lush, for the energy of this matrix, of this Illuminati matrix, of this Kabbalah. And it's all predicated on the cube. It's the Saturn. This is why it's Saturn's day, or the Sabbat, the Shabbat. And it's funny. It's not funny. It's very sad, actually. It's very, very sad because we just haven't been doing the research. It's right there in some of the curated texts of the Enuma Elish. Even Hermes Trismegistus talks about these things that were very, very earlier, much, much earlier than the Bible. Much, much earlier. I'm going to follow you on YouTube, watch all your videos, and reach out to you soon. Love it. Can't wait. So just to let everybody know, like I said, it's the Mystics Have Spoken. Mystics Have Spoken on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot. You know, I picked up, I'm going to show you this. The guy, okay, I was on yesterday, and I still have this I don't know if you call it a gift. It's the leading of the guides. The guides show me this stuff, and I didn't want to pick this book up, but there's a reason I picked this book up, and it's called, and I'm not saying you should get this book, I'm just saying I got this book. It's the Awakening Glossary. Okay? Now this guy, if you look at this book, he definitely has a heavy Christian overtone. However, remember, if this guy is not an NPC, he's connected to the source, okay? And so we need to not judge people because everybody is God. And that's what people don't understand. So anybody can have good information because we're all connected. It's quantum physics. That's why quantum healing works. That's why when you speak your words, you can actually affect somebody on the other side of the world. That's how it works. It's a quantum computer. It's connected. You're not an NPC. There's no way you could be an NPC if you're in here. So, we talk about this. When I say we, no more we. We're not in France. One of the major things that a NPC will exemplify is they will not want to change their stature about you. If they get mad at you, they will not really forgive you. They're just engulfed in themselves. They don't care about people. They're there for a simple reason. They can show signs of it, but what will happen is ultimately there's that old saying, a leopard cannot change his spots, and then you have the narcissism, or you have the the how do you say it? The gaslighting constantly. This is who they are. Okay, so if you're in this room here with us, with me, you're not an NPC. If you were an NPC, you would have a big problem with what I'm saying, and especially when we talk about the Anunnaki, people get very offended by that. They're like, well, that's not true. That's not true. And I'm not saying to that person who said about the Anunnaki that they're an NPC. I'm just saying I respect the studies. I respect the studies. So you are source. Okay? And that's what Jesus was teaching. He says, I and the Father are one, just like you are one with me, and I am one with you, so we are one. Do you see? But the Christianity made them think that Jesus is God. We are Elohim. We are gods. Actually, Jesus was part Anunnaki. He came from the El. This is why he was the Emmanuel. It's the El line. This is why you have Raphael. You have Daniel. Okay? It's the line of El. And I don't know if you were there, Gasel, or other people. We did a TikTok, which I got rid of because it was too long. It was like 4 hours. And I had it on YouTube. I think I will put this one on YouTube. I think people will watch this. I think it's very important that people watch these. And we did this 4 hour YouTube, but the consensus of Jesus being part Anunnaki did not sit well with people. But you have to realize the story is really mirrored on Dionysus in the Greek. You also have Enki and his brother, his son, Thoth. And a lot of people believe that Yeshua was indeed Thoth. So again, when we look at this kind of bibliology, we're seeing a lot of this as people as avatars. And the great mystics of the East knew this. There was an avatar of different souls. In other words, the same soul, different avatars. Okay, and that's what it was. So you can definitely check out the channel, and if you have any questions, feel free. But it's very, very exciting, and this is the time now where people are really, really starting to wake up and question things. They're questioning things. We had like 800 people on the last video, and I really liked it, but it was just like so exhausting, because not everybody is where I'm at, and I'm not where everybody else is at. We've been given this idea that there's only one way to heaven, because Jesus said, he's like, no one comes to the Father but through me. Okay? And these are all very inconspicuous ways of saying you and I are one. You need to come through understanding my teachings. I'm a teacher. I got news for you. He wasn't a shepherd. He didn't shepherd sheep. He had a staff. He was a magician. He was a mystic. Okay? And this is right in correlation with all the great mystics. Lazao of the Tao Te Ching in China, Bhutan Maguva, Buddha, Krishna, many other mystics. There was a great book that was put out. It was called The Mystics of the Far East. And this is a true story, written in 1902, where you had 7 people, which were generally Christian. They had some action going on in the Himalayas. So guess what? They packed up, they went there, true story, and they actually witnessed these guys walking through walls, bilocating. These are the things that mystics would do. I can't do those things, but I in the mystical understanding, I think the edge that I have is understanding the book that I talk about. Let me grab this book for you real quick. It's called. Give me a second. And it's one that I've always talked about, and I think it's probably one of the greatest books that I've ever read. Such an amazing scholarship on this, and it's the most least likely person that you would want to read something from, a 33-degree past Mason, but it's this book right here. This book is a game changer. It's by Christopher Lomas and Robert Lomas and Christopher Knight, and actually it's a series. And this book right here will literally make your jaw drop, because what we have here is we have a 33-degree past Mason who is renouncing Masonry on the spot and basing it on that the God of the Bible is not the source. When I understood the veracity of that statement, I was wanting to read all about this. And you can see, when I read, I'm in. I've got the yellow marker. And there's so many people that think that they know about the Masons and the Masonic order, and they really don't. They're like, oh, there's the black and white checkerboard floor. Looks like an initiation to me. Shut up. It's not for you. It's black and white. It's a symbol. By the way, you want a great book? Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of the Ages. We're just releasing them all. These are fantastic books. Secret Teaching of the Ages reads more like a reference book. It shows you all the secret societies from the very beginning all the way till now, and it will all make sense. It's always been that way, and it always will be that way. The Masons are nobody different. And in fact, the Rosicrucians started the Masons. I'm going to tell you that it's going to get a lot of people upset, but that's really, because here's the thing: if you look at Masonry, even the Grand Wizard of the whole conglomeration of, I don't know if it's the world or the country of the United States, but they said that Masonry was founded in 1556 or something like that. That is a load of bullshit. 1556. No. This is the stone that the builders rejected. This was like way back then. They were Masons. Again, the correlation of Yeshua and the idea of these secret passcodes, which again are found in Genesis. Okay, and that's what the whole thing is based on, Solomon's temple. So anyways, Pharaoh's Freemasons and the Discovery of the Secret Scrolls of Jesus. Awesome book. The Haram Key. So anyways, hot as a motherfucker in here. Jesus. I'm over here in Illinois, and I can put my stuff on, but I'm not a miser. It's a very expensive. It's like $600 electric bill. It's like crazy. So I'm just trying to save a little bit. About to go to bed soon. I got to work tomorrow. But anyways, I hope everybody has been enjoying what I'm sharing, and I'm only going to share more. We're going to get deep. I had some constraints before. I don't have any constraints anymore. Oh, by the way, I'll share another book with you. This is a game changer right here. This is called My Big Toe, and this is really about the complete unifying philosophy, physics, and metaphysics. Maybe a little bit deep. It's a very thick book, but it's a tri-chapter, so it's 3 books in one. And what this book is explaining is the same thing that the Monroe experiment, the Gateway experience, and by the way, I didn't even know this, but Bob Monroe actually had Thomas Campbell in interviews. So the guide showed me I needed to get this book, and it's very, very good. So far, I'm in the first couple chapters, but I just have so much reference materials. I mean, just hundreds of books, and that doesn't even touch my PDFs. I've got one PDF that is 6,500 occult rare books. So your live is not eligible for recommendation. Restricted in search results because your live does not comply with the 4 you feed eligibility standards. Reason, nudity, and body exposure. Are you serious? Do you see? That's how people hate this message. There's no nudity and no body exposures. You see anybody getting naked over here? No. No. So, whatever. It's par for the course. Yeah. So, believe me, I've got one more strike and I'm banned off TikTok. So, and again, at least, everything happens for a reason, right? You want to come back, now I'm on Facebook, Gregory Boss, and I'm on YouTube. Fuck TikTok, I don't know if anybody watches magic tricks, but there's a thing called skill, and it's in the form of magic. And the guy's name is Jason Ledaney. Jason Ledaney is the best card person I've ever saw. He is so skilled. He can shuffle and know every single card placement. Go find him, Jason Ledaney. He's an amazing card magician. But again, magic can also be used to bend the reality. So he's a master. He's a master at his craft. Okay. Oh, it's okay, Gazelle. It's okay. I think that just sharing my story is going to be good enough for me. I've got a lot of ideas, and they don't want this stuff out. Believe me, if there was a movie, you know how many people would lick their chops if a movie came about the Anunnaki? We're never going to see it. Never. Never. I had a guy that was in Beverly Hills that had been in the movie scene, and we were talking about possibly doing something with the Anunnaki movie. I actually contacted Paul Wallace, and I said, we should do that. That would be amazing. Maybe even get Billy Carson, but there's a lot of pride involved with people. If you don't have the big names, they don't want to sit with you. So, fuck them as well, because, again, if we can't all love each other and understand that unless we are NPCs, we're cut from that same cloth, it is that divinity within you. And we were taught that from a very, very young age, even when we were in religion, right? You have God in you. Well, you don't just have God in you. You are a part of that fountain. You are that water, and everything is in duality. If I'm sitting with you near a fire, we can have warmth. We could be warm. We can also sit in front of the same fire. The fire tumbles down, the log tumbles onto our feet, and then now we have a fire, and now we're getting burned. You see what I'm saying? So it is the balance, so as above, so below, in duality, but we are not duality. And that's what I try to explain to people, is that you've got a lot of these people who are said awakened, and they don't even follow the truest tenet to say, listen, I was in the dark, I'm raised now in the light, which is the illumination. Oh, and by the way, I'm still in the darkness because I'm in duality. No, you're not. And that's why you act how you do. That's why you're selfish. That's why you're doing all these things of the duality. Yahweh, or Enlil in the Sumerian, was a duality god. And it proved it in Deuteronomy 28:15. If you do these things, I'm going to bless you. However, if you do these things not the way that I want them, I'm going to curse you. And for those of you who are not familiar with the curses in Genesis, go ahead, or Deuteronomy, go ahead and look them up. Because this is not something, honestly, if you can really still believe that that is the source telling people that, then you have no comprehension at all of love. Because love is infinite. You just don't have love. Jesus explains the Father, which he would have said the monad, or the Father, Mother, as pure love. There's no darkness in him. What do we see in the text in the Old Testament? We say that the this God of the Hebrews, this Elohim, is coming on clouds of darkness. He's always in darkness. And so now we can understand that when Jesus is speaking, when Yeshua is speaking to people, he's using it as a speech to say, listen, what kind of father would give their son a snake if he asked for a stone? Or I'm paraphrasing, right? Because he's explaining that this Elohim that you're serving They just told me I'm getting kicked off in 5 minutes because of because there's no activity. You talk about hate. I love you, YouTube or TikTok, but YouTube's better. It is. We'll bring our business over there. That's fine. More people. But so yeah. Anyways, I'm not about the stupid tapping and stuff. You tap away. I mean, tap this. Okay, that's not going to get you any wisdom. And that's what people are here for. They're here to be an ego-driven, it's ego-driven. It's not love-driven. It's not, I really want you to understand this, and I'm going to speak with you. I'm going to sit with you. I'm going to labor with you in love. That's what it's about. It was about, for me, and I'll be honest, and like I said, I had a lot of people to apologize to, which I did. It was about spouting off your knowledge. Oh, well, if you're not wearing your zitzits or your tassels, then you're not of us. If you're not on the Sabbath, and everybody's arguing about what type of moon. Are you doing the full moon, the conjunction moon? Are you doing the half sliver? What the fuck are you talking about, man? But I've been there. Are you going to the feast day, brother? We're going on Thursday. Well, we're going on Saturday. Brother, it's not that way. Let me bring out the book of Jubilees. Oh, here's what it says. It says, okay. I'm not deceived by that anymore. The oldest text that we have, which is the story of Gilgamesh, by the way. After that, you have the Sumerian text, and Zechariah Sitchin, in the greatest scholarship he performed, took those texts and did us a great favor. Even if he got some of it wrong, the whole concept stays the same. So for somebody to say, oh, I don't believe in the Anunnaki, or I don't believe these people even existed, well, that's going to be really tough, because these were in clay cylinders. These were unearthed. A lot of the curated museums already have this information. So that doesn't really fly. What he didn't really understand is he called them the bird people. They were astronauts. Where do you think astronauts come from? Okay? They were wearing these costumes. It's kind of funny. I'll have to show it to you one day. But anyways, I'm happy. I'm glad I could come on here real quick before I go to bed. And I think TikTok doesn't like me very much, but that's okay. I got love for you. Anything else? Anything else, Gasala? Are you still there? So I appreciate everybody kind of chiming in. There's just so much. The name of the channel, again, The Mystics Have Spoken. It's on YouTube. And awesome. Gazella, have you saw the video with Paul Wallace yet? The first one? Oh, oh boy, you're in for a very big treat. And then the second video, again, I'm always careful with people. Take what you can, but I think one of the things that I learned, and again, this is from remembering, is by deduction. This came into my mind. I didn't even know what it meant. I had to look it up. And if we don't know the answer to something, we can learn by deduction, and this means that we can take multiplicity of different scenarios or stories or different aspects of the story, and we can piece it together and find out what it's not. And when we find out what it's not, then we can see what it is. Does that make sense? Okay. So look at AI summary here. Debating the biblical roots of the Anunnaki and their role in the story of God. Okay. So anyways, you're in for a big treat, because that is it is all about who Yahweh is. And again, I think the difference in the way I'm presenting this is, if I was a Pharisee, like back in the day, I would say, it's okay to mention it, okay? But I would say, oh, well, it's not Yahweh. It's not even a name. And I said that before, but I'm not demanding about it. If somebody calls what they know as the Father Yahweh, that's okay. That's okay. It took me, I didn't start gathering this knowledge till I was like 52. Okay? So it's okay. And a lot of these people are younger. They're starting to really understand. And we're just putting it all together, people. We're putting it all together. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Got my ant here. There we go. The bugs have been pretty good this because I live around a forest kind of around the house, and sometimes when it gets really hot, very hot here, it's like 85 right now, I think, even at night. I'm in Chicago, but ultimately the bugs are not too bad. But so anyways, you're in for a big treat. I think you're going to love it. Please put the comments on YouTube. We would love to have comments. I would love to have comments. Okay. No way! You're in Illinois? What part of Illinois are you in? Look, you're right down the block. That would be a trip. I have to go for coffee. Chicago? Like, throw a city out. Like, I'm not going to locate you on GPS or anything. Oh, Chicago. Okay, okay. I used to live in the Gold Coast and also in South State Street, five blocks south of police headquarters, 17th and State, actually. Very rough area. Used to work at the American Police Center Museum for Joe Pecoraro. And I was in fundraising for a while. And then had a fun time with that. And then migrated over to the West Coast, where I was in Arizona, did some stuff there, and of course, like I said, a lot happened with me. And then I came back to Wisconsin, and then Illinois, and I've been here going on probably 18 years, 19 years, or something like that, and that's where I'm at. I'm in a place called DeKalb, which is about 45 minutes out from Chicago. So, oh yeah, I'm traveled quite a bit and traveling no more. So that's the way it works. But so be it. But yeah, we definitely I would absolutely love to talk to you. And again, if I can go back to the second video with Paul Wallace, it is about. One of the things that really interests me is understanding near-death experiences, okay? Because let's be honest, if you look at reincarnation, and this is one of the first things I want to do. I think what the guy showed me, the very first video I'm going to do, we're going to go basic. And a lot of people, when I say mystic, they don't even know what a mystic is. Jesus was a mystic. Okay, and I'm going to get into it. I'm going to show people. Okay, but when we look at the idea of near-death experiences or even out-of-body experiences, we can see very clearly that our consciousness lies outside the body. 100%. And then what we all also can see is there's a pattern of the very same things going on with everybody. Now, I had a very, very good question. I'll leave you with this. I had to ask a question to the guides. I said, now, wait a minute. I said, what about these people that have they might even be agnostic, in other words, didn't believe in God at all, and they had a near-death experience. In other words, I'll give you the example. The guy, he was out, didn't believe in God at all. He wasn't evil, he just didn't believe. And I tell people this, if you didn't believe in one thing in your whole life, nothing will happen to you. I'm going to explain something to you. This is very interesting. So I said to the guides, I said, my biggest question is this. Why or what is the purpose for somebody who is an agnostic to be well, he was bit by a jellyfish, by a killer jellyfish, and he literally went into a septic shock, and it was a miracle. Like, I mean, he got out. There was just some guy there. They took him to the hospital, and he was okay. Well, he had a near-death experience, and he saw Jesus, and he was saved from hell. So I said, what is the point when we know that hell and heaven is not even a place? It's a part of the consciousness. In other words, what you believe is what you perceive and what is the reality of what you can come into, okay? And here's the answer they gave. This is profound. They said that it is more damaging and dangerous for the simulation matrix to have somebody who is not believing in anything than to have them, than not to have them believe in the Anunnaki priesthoods, either all the religions. Because now, guess what he's doing? He's teaching Jesus. He's teaching the idea of all of the things that we know where they come from. And it's amazing to me that people don't go back as far as we can. And I think that what they did with the Hebrew is they wanted people to think that that's where it begins. I think most people will believe, well, you know, the Hebrew, that's why, brother, I mean, you're in the Hebrew, but I'm in the Paleo Hebrew. You know, I mean, you could even order a cup of coffee in Hebrew. Shut up, okay? I mean, honestly, it's okay. But there's no reason to expound on something that you don't know. It's okay to say I don't know. No cap. 100%. Okay? So anyways, that was, I thought, very interesting. I wanted to share with you. It is more detrimental to have somebody who's a non-believer. It is more detrimental to have somebody who doesn't believe in anything than to have somebody that's locked in the grid that's going to come back in the reincarnation cycle. One last thing, too. This came to me, for whoever this is for. When we start to learn where all this stuff comes from, a lot of words, even the words in red, come very careful. And one of the things, or even like, how do I say it, even in the Old Testament, where we see God, which is not the word God, is Elohim. And that's what you'll start to see, Gisela, is you'll start to see that word Elohim is a very certain specific meaning in regards to the Anunnaki. And God, and I'll just say this as it says in the text, God said, let there be light. And then he also said to Adam and Eve, Hava, he says, propagate. In other words, let your seed flow and propagate and make many nations, right? And a lot of people started thinking about this. Well, wait a minute. If Adam and Eve was the first person, there must have been a lot of incest going on. Okay. Very good. If you're really understanding what's happening, Adam and Eve were not the first. They were the first Homo sapiens. They were not the first hominids, which were lower level, and these were located in the city of Nod, N-O-D, right? And these are where the soulless ones were, And so it's interesting how the story goes that uh, who was it? The two brothers, Jacob and Esau, were really extenuating stories from the Enuma Elish, who was Enki and Enlil. And that's the whole story. That's the whole story. So you like Jacob and Esau, you better be familiar with Enki and Enlil. I was most shocked about David and Bathsheba. Remember David? And he goes and peers off and there's a woman naked and he's kind of looking and takes the guy's wife. That's not an original story. That's Enki and Bathsheba. Or not Bathsheba, Nursha. It's in the Enuma Elish, 3,000 years. What is the purpose? Final thing I'm going to say. What is the purpose of the Bible repeating stories? Is it an agenda? Is it something contrived specifically to mislead the masses? Or is it just normal telephone game where you say something and then it's transcribed and next thing you know, all the transliterations and translations, and now you have a totally different story with different names. I'll let you be the judge of that. But I can tell you from what I see, there is absolutely a little bit of mischievous nature in the text. And that's never so prevalent in the Deuteronomic Code. You have the Yahwist Code. You have very the signature line writings are very different in that text of the Deuteronomic Code and the Levitical Code. They actually go against each other. Two different writings, two different authors. Okay, and even some of the writings was in third person. So if Moses is writing this, my favorite, of course, is when Jesus was in the desert with Satan. Who's writing this? Did he put it on an iPad? Is he putting it in his back pocket? Did he give the message to Peter when he got back? Is he, listen, by the way, you understand? When you understand what was really going on there, Jesus as a third level initiate, because the 3 levels is the highest you can get, one of the initiates, and the initiations back then were very, very strong. You literally get tossed in a boat, and if you lived, you were okay. If you didn't make it, you were dead. He was told to go into a cave. A lot of times when you were in the desert, you were in a barren place. You were in a cave. You would go into the cave for a long time, and you would seek yourself within. This is what the Bible talks about as being closing the door, okay? And the Hebrew root people got a hold of that one, and they turned the door into a talit, and now everybody's wearing these head coverings, and now I can't even make this stuff up. So anyway, Shelley Jefferson's with us. So anyways, thank you so much. I'm going to close it off. I appreciate all the hearts, whatever. And if you're not a part of this channel, you can add me. The Mystics Have Spoken on YouTube. Check me out there. I'm hoping to do another video here very shortly, within 2 weeks, hopefully. It's a lot of work. If anybody is interested in helping, I'm open to that. Okay, I'm very open to that, because the way that places get bigger and more respected, unfortunately, is because there's a little bit more. I mean, it's just like you have a small family business with 2 or 3 people. You're going to do okay. But if you start branching off and you get that 2 or 3 people to get 10 people, and then 13 people, and then 15 people working together, well, now you've got a very big thing going on. And that is kind of my goal, not for ego, but to reach a lot of people. And where my heart really goes out to these people is where I came from. Not so much, leave Christianity alone. A lot of those people might find out, but it is still the matrix of the illusionary trap of the Anunnaki, the priesthoods, the Levitical priesthood. So it is a trap. But again, I think Yeshua said it the best, and I'll close with this. Seek me and you will find. Knock, the door will be open for you. And give and it shall be given. It's that whole concept of, and the church got it wrong. It wasn't about tithing. It wasn't about giving money, because a lot of people who you give money to now think it's a bill. It was about the frequency of that which you give. The mirroring image comes back from the universe because it recognizes that code in the field. You understand? So when you say, oh, I hope I'm going to get this, guess what? You're not going to get it because the universe is mirroring your image saying, okay, you're hoping, and that's what you're going to get, is you're hoping. You have to know in your heart and your mind, the heart and the mind, when those become one, you now have one last thing to do, and that's let it go. That's one thing that people do not do, is they have the heart, which is the heart, and then the mind, which is enveloping your thoughts and mind into the right intention. Some people call this manifestation. But what they do forget is they forget the last part. The most important part is to let it go. That way you have not made a judgment, and you allow the universe to revert the frequency back to you and matching your frequency. That's how it works. And if you believe, remember, I do a very interesting one question to somebody who thinks they know it all, and this really stumps a lot of people. How many people did Jesus actually heal? Do you know? And people like, in the Bible, I think he healed 7, 8, 9, I don't know, everybody. And the answer? 0. Oh, there we go. There's the 3 6s, right? That's symbol Illuminati. No, that's 0, okay? Oh, there's the I. Okay, no. It's 0. You know why? Because and you can look at this. There's no magic being done here. He said it himself. He said, by your faith, by your emunah, you've been healed. And he actually tried to help heal people, and they couldn't do it. You know why? Because they did not believe. They didn't believe. They didn't see what they were wanting to manifest. They didn't see it. They couldn't envision it. And when you envision it with a good intention and let it go, that is when your miracle happens. I hope you all enjoyed what I showed you today, and we will definitely come back in the future. Thank you for watching. The Mystics have spoken. Have a good night. And thank you, Casella. Look forward to seeing everybody later. Bye-bye. I always have a problem getting off this place here. We'll have to see how we do it.